programmers. This is a video about using Python to do password cracking. Now, if you're a serious hacker, this is not the video for you. This is for people that have limited resources. They don't have any special software like a Kali Linux, which has Hashcat that's used for password cracking. If you're trying to do maybe an ethical hacking competition where there's a capture the flag event, like NCL is a good example, the National Cyber League. So I'm trying to help my high school hacking club who is competing in NCL, and they have really bare bones computers with no special software on it. There's no Kali Linux. They're not allowed to download anything new, but they want to score some points for the password cracking section. So I am showing them how to do that with Python. Now, Python has a library that's included when you download it called hashlib. And this does secure hashes and message digest. And one of the most popular hashes that I see in the NCL competition is the MD5 hash. It's not super secure anymore, so it's not a good thing to use in the real world, but it is quick for someone that's trying to do password cracking. And in the competitions, they're not unlimited amount of time, so they want to pick something that's possible for the students to decrypt. So this is what I'm going to talk about first, using that library. So to import that module, we'll do import hashlib. And then there's a function inside the hashlib module called MD5. You pass inside the parentheses to the function whatever string you want to hash, and the string I'm going to hash is password because that's one of the most common passwords that people choose, not a very creative password, but if we pick that and then we hash it with the MD5 algorithm and look at the results in hex format, then we're going to see hex digits, which are base 16, the digits between 0 and 9 and A through F. So I look at this string, and this is what you might see when you're in a password cracking question on NCL or something, and your job is to go from this string to whatever word it originally was. So let's say the question is, what is the password that hashes with an MD5 algorithm to this right here? And just to make it easier for my program and for me to show for educational purposes, I'm going to say I know that the password is a 3-letter, and they're all lowercase letters, password. So a really bad password, but something that we can hash in a quick amount of time and then figure out what it is. So one possible way to go about decrypting this, there is no decode function in that hashlib because kind of by the nature of hashes, they're one-way functions where it's easy to hash them, but undoing the process is not possible. So one possibility is to create a string of 3 letters, every possible string of letters, hash each of those, and then compare them to this string I have here and see which one is a match. So I'm going to show how to do that in Python. So using this brute force algorithm, I'm going to try every possible combination starting with AAA, then AAB, then AAC, until I get to ZZZ, and I'm going to compare each of those 3-letter word hashes with the hash that I'm looking for. So in Python, I would start out with a script that imports that hashlib, and then I've got a variable letters that has the lowercase letters. If you knew that your password might have uppercase letters, I would also include the uppercase letters in here. And if it might include numbers, you could also include the numbers in here. But I'm going to say just for this simple example, this educational example, we know it's 3 lowercase letters. I've got 3 nested for loops. The first for loop, the A1 variable, is going to get one of these letters each time through the loop, and the same thing with A2 and A3. And then I printed out what it looked like when you concatenate A1 and A2 and A3. So let me run that, and we'll take a look at every A variable it's going to generate using every possible 3-letter combination. And it's pretty fast. It's going from AAA all the way to now I'm in B, and then it's coming up with 2 other letters. And if I wait long enough, we'll see ZZZ. But I don't intend to wait that long. Now, what's really taking most of the time here is the print statement. If I were not printing anything out, this would run instantly. And I'll hit Control C and stop this and run it again. And we're going to see that, yeah, it runs so fast that it doesn't take any time at all. So now our goal is to compare whatever the user enters as their hash with our A. And so I'm going to compare, well, we don't want to compare it with AAA. We want to hash that and then compare the hash. So I'm going to put the hash in a variable H and say hashlib.md5. Let's hash A, and we'll do that and code it UTF-8, and then hex digest. I should probably show what the rest of this line looks like, and then we'll do a little if statement. So if the hash they gave me in the beginning, let me spell hash right, is equal to the hash of the 3-letter word, then we have a winner, winner, chicken dinner. So we're going to say that we found the hash and the original word was, and then we can just print our A variable. So if I hit run, and I'll have to save it, it instantly runs. Well, I have to type in my hash first. So I pasted in that hash. Copy and paste is good with hashes because you don't want to make a typo. And I'll hit enter, and it found it immediately. The word was spy. And when you're copying and pasting the hashes, make sure you don't have an extra new line character or a space at the end. So that is how fast you can figure out the password if you only had a 3-character word and then you hashed it with MD5. It'll take a bit longer if you have a 4-letter word or a 5-letter word or a 6-letter word. And once you start getting into like 8 or 9-letter words, that's going to take so long that I don't have the patience for that, and we don't want to have that on the YouTube video. But normally hashing passwords is not done with brute force because there's a lot of waste. Like there's very little chance that someone's going to pick AAA as their password or AAB. It's a lot more likely they're going to pick a dictionary word like the word spy, which we found here, or the word password. So a lot of times you're going to see dictionary password cracking. So if you have a file that has all the words in the dictionary, you can read that in with a Python program. And so to open a file in Python, you will use the open command and save the result in a variable, and you have what's the file that you want to open. And I'm opening this for reading. And there's a famous file that you're going to find on Kali Linux that people often use for checking out to see if they can do some password cracking. And that's the rocku file. That's the nickname that they give to this file that has, and it has like 14 million passwords in it, real passwords that people used to have that were discovered, and they were being stored in clear plain text. So using that list of common passwords that people might have, if you look at those and you hash each of those words, then you can compare it with whatever you're trying to crack and then see if you have a match. You've got that variable f, and you can say, I want to look for a line in that file, for a line in this file f, and then we can take a look and print out what the first line is. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of code to remove the new line character, and then I'm just going to print what that file, what that line looks like, just to see the lines from rocku. And if we run this, it's gonna, I don't want to watch 14 million of those, but let's say we were looking for that hash for spy. And we want to know, is that in the rocku file? Is that one of the ones in there? And it's going to go through, and these are all people's passwords that were stored in that rocku file. And we can use that same method before of seeing, well, if we were to hash that, if we were to do the hashlib.md5 of the line that we just read and make sure that we've got the encoding right, And I think this is the encoding. This is my best guess for the Rocky file encoding my copy of it anyway. And look at the hex digest. And make sure my parentheses match. I think they do. And now if I can find that hash inside the Rocky file, then it's not a very secure password, other than the fact that it's 3 letters and it's not secure for that reason. But let's go ahead and print. So found the hash for, okay, so we'll see how long it takes to find the word spy inside of the RockU password list. Okay, oh, I left the print statement in. That's going to take a lot longer. So printing 14 million lines is not a very, very quick way to hash this. So let me stop that and try this again. And then hopefully you're only using this for ethical hacking and for NCL competitions or other capture the flag competitions. But giving the code like this is not giving anything away, because people that have Kali Linux and Hashcat, they can just do this in one line on the terminal, and the program's already written for them called Hashcat. But if you're writing it yourself, I want you guys to have a chance of getting some points in different capture the flag games. And we'll run this and we'll see if spy is in this dictionary, and it found it already. And it's still going through the other 14 million passwords, but instantly it was able to find that's a password someone's used before. Okay, I hope this all makes sense. And if you are doing some capture the flag games, you may be coming up with your own custom word list instead of using the Rocky one that you can probably find online, or a dictionary, a list of dictionary words that you can find online. You may need to find your own way to create a custom dictionary. All right, good luck and happy programming.